I'm giving away this championship belt at 100,000 subscribers, so go ahead and click subscribe today. Welcome back to the Yango Show. This one is loaded, so let's not waste any time. Eddie Kingston revealed on a new Q&A with adfreeshows.com that he has re-signed with AEW for 4 more years. Surprisingly, this wasn't leaked by anybody. At least I didn't see any leaks. I'm very, very happy for Eddie Kingston, guys. I think Eddie Kingston is one of the best in AEW, and that's a loaded roster, right? So I'm giving some very high praise here. But it's no secret. If you watch my channel, I typically like to watch the characters that are real life. You know what I mean? Like there's something organic and authentic with Eddie Kingston. It doesn't feel like he's portraying a character. And it's that is what makes me buy into a wrestler, right? Like there's a lot of things about Eddie Kingston where I just think he is so good. He's good in ring, but he's so good with the character that when you combine the two, it's like I root for this guy. You know what I mean? And I want to see him do well. And especially because we know the backstory to how he got into AEW and how it pretty much changed his life. You want to hear stories like this. If you guys don't know about it, long story short, pandemic almost ruined everything for Eddie Kingston. It was really, really tough on him, really, really bad for him. AEW ends up calling him. They bring him in for the TNT Championship Open Challenge against Cody Rhodes. And, I mean, that right there began a launching pad for Eddie Kingston to become one of the favorites for many fans. And, look, 4 years, it's a solid, solid deal. You know, I'm surprised it didn't leak. But most importantly, for 4 years, I'm not saying AEW has to rush into it or anything like that. There's a plethora of guys on this roster. It's a loaded roster. But I would love to see Eddie Kingston become AEW World Champion. And I don't know if that'll ever be possible with how they're doing booking. And, you know, Tony Khan's got long-term plans, apparently. So we'll see how it all works out. But I do think this guy is a world champion kind of guy, and it's because of the character. And because when you mix his character with his in-ring stuff, it just... there's something there that tells me a lot of people would be behind him as a world champion in the company. Yes, he's ROH champion, but ROH is under, it's under Watch ROH, the streaming service. There's a paywall there. I'm talking about him becoming AEW world champion. I'm all about it. Guys, Matt Riddle, apparently there's interest from MMA companies to bring him back. So a lot of people were wondering what's going to happen with Matt Riddle. He got released by the WWE. Some people are saying, hey, maybe he could go to AEW. Maybe Impact could be an option. Dave Meltzer came out and says he knows that Riddle has at least got one MMA promotion, if not more, that are interested in bringing him back to MMA. I could tell you guys just based on following MMA media and part of, there are some synergies there, right? And obviously Matt Riddle used to be in MMA. He was in the UFC. Dana White didn't like him. Then he came to, pro wrestling or whatever. The thing that I need to make very clear here, I was looking at some articles and stuff from the MMA community, and there's a lot of potential for Matt Riddle to return to MMA. 2 companies that I see very, very likely to pick him up, PFL and ONE FC. Now, the reason for this is because there are some rumors about PFL and Bellator coming together. Then it looks like they might not be coming together. Sounds like Bellator probably won't survive. So if they don't survive, if they don't get a major investor or no other company acquires them, Bellator is probably going to fold. PFL is working with Jake Paul. They're building the super fight division, which is pay-per-views. The thing for Matt Riddle is he obviously was an experienced MMA fighter, but then you add the notoriety that comes from being with the WWE. It would make a lot of sense for PFL. And then there's talks of possibly ONE FC looking at bringing in Matt Riddle, which ONE FC is always trying to find the biggest name free agents possible. And then it's really whether or not they can come to an agreement. So this will be interesting to find out and see kind of how everything works itself out in the long run. I'm never going to say no to Matt Riddle returning to pro wrestling, but at the same time, too, I do got to make that very clear with Matt Riddle. He's got some personal stuff to handle as well, and hopefully that all gets handled before anything happens. Guys, WWE FastLane, big plans for FastLane. There's some talks about LA Knight and John Cena having a singles match at having a singles match at WWE FastLane. Excuse me. So basically, for those who don't know, WWE's kind of been doing this storyline where AJ Styles, LA Knight, John Cena are all involved. There's rumors that it could be John Cena versus LA Knight, or LA Knight and John Cena tag teaming together. But there's some plans there where it sounds like once LA Knight is cleared from his virus, we all know what I'm referring to when I say that. You know how it is on this. So, basically if he's cleared in time, they're going to figure out some big plans for LA Knight for Fastlane, which is fantastic. The plan is for WWE to push LA Knight. The plan is for LA Knight to be involved in the top stories and the top guys. And it almost sounds like WWE is teasing something there with LA Knight and Paul Heyman, potentially, maybe. I mean, who knows? They could always swerve us, but it sounds like maybe LA Knight versus Roman Reigns could be a possibility. This one is something to definitely pay attention to. Nonetheless, we're going to keep it moving. The Rock. Okay, guys, this one is exciting. The West Australian coming out with a very, very, very interesting read. Adding to the speculation is the fact that WWE was recently sold to Endeavor. There is a strong suggestion to the company, which also owns the UFC, wants its first WrestleMania in charge to be an absolute showstopper. As a result, there is talk that The Rock might very well wrestle in Perth at the Elimination Chamber in February on his way to WrestleMania to face Reigns 2 months later. Okay, The Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Cool, awesome. What about Cody? That's the question here. What about Cody? That's what we care about. We care about Cody. We care about Cody. We care about Cody. But also, I do care about The Rock versus Roman Reigns, which is why it makes this so damn hard. Is Roman Reigns going to have to do double duty? I don't know. But please, 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 WWE, let Cody finish the story. Let him finish the story. He's been absolutely killing it. He's the top guy in WWE for a reason. But you got to let him finish the story. And do not let Cody Rhodes and the story lose steam. People are still invested in this guy. Do not let people lose their investment in him. Rock showing up to the Elimination Chamber. There's a lot of ways they can do it. He could win the Elimination Chamber and challenge Roman Reigns. But The Rock and Roman Reigns should never be about the championship. It should always be about who is the head of the table. That's what it should be about. That's where the story is. You could have The Rock win the Royal Rumble, but he doesn't need the belt. He doesn't need to challenge Roman Reigns for the belt. I really, really hope WWE, Endeavor, TKO, UFC, I don't give a shit who it is. Please understand that you could do The Rock and Roman Reigns, but you still got to do Cody versus Roman, and you got to let Cody defeat Roman Reigns. All right, guys, this brings us to our final story of today's video. WWE potentially signing Sami Callihan from Impact Wrestling. According to PW Insider, the former Impact Wrestling champion will be leaving the company after his contract expires this Saturday. He says currently the two sides, while still amicable, have not yet agreed to terms for a new deal. Callihan will be a free agent as of October 1st, and we have heard that there is already interest in him from multiple companies, not just his talent, but in other roles, which I would take to mean as a producer or agent. Yes, this seems to be the case. There seems to be some interest from WWE where they would like to bring him in as a producer or agent. There's even rumors of AEW willing to bring him in as a wrestler and coach as well. Keep in mind, he owns Pro Wrestling Revolver. This guy had experience with WWE before. Whether he signs with WWE or AEW will be very interesting. I thought Sami Callihan was a beast in Impact. He's been tag teaming with Rich Swann. They've been doing some cool shit. But at the same time, too, that's why we want a healthy wrestling industry, right? We want guys to be able to go everywhere. So, obviously, I would love to see him stay in Impact. I feel like there's more they could always do in Impact with him. But at the same time, too, part of having a healthy industry means he could go elsewhere, maybe get paid more, maybe work less, maybe work more, maybe do things that he actually wants to do. Maybe that aligns more with his personal life or whatever. It's cool stuff, though. I'm happy that this industry is so cool. Hopefully we'll have an update on this. But I would say WWE or AEW's in the running. From what I'm hearing, WWE specifically has some interest in bringing him in. That would be very, very interesting to see what they do if they brought him in as a wrestler, because if I remember his run as Solomon Crow, and I don't feel like WWE really knew what to do with him as a wrestler. But if you're bringing him as an agent, producer, coach, something like that, obviously beneficial. He's a long-time veteran, and those are the types of guys you want helping the young ones. So let me know what you guys think. Don't forget, I'm giving away this championship belt at 100,000 subscribers, so go ahead and click subscribe today.